Hi, hello, namaste, viewers. Welcome to my special show, Jewels of Art, only on SCubeTV. Myself, Bhavana Tirumala. Today, we have a very special jewel with us, Srimati Aparna Prashanth Garu from Chicago, who's a Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam dancer, learned under the tutelage of legendary Guru Padma Bhushan, Dr. Vempati Chinnasatyam Garu, and also Guru Srimati Kalamamani Chandra Dandayuda Pillai of Natyacharya Academy accordingly. She is the founder and artistic director of Nrityataranga Dance Academy, Chicago. She is also a full-time financial services pricing architect for a MNC and a mother of three lovely children. So without any further ado, let us dive into the interview and know more about her and also the different dance forms. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Namaskaram. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's an honor. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, at what age did you begin learning dance, and at what point did you become serious about your study of Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam?
My journey started when I was very young, at the age of 4 in Chennai, where we were residing. My mother took me to a nearby dance school, and at that point in time, there was a Bharatanatyam dance school next to our place that was run by Srimati Chandra Dandayuda Pillai, who is the wife of the late K.N. Dandayuda Pillai, sir. And so I started my dance journey over there, and all the way went until my Salange Puja at the age of 8. But at the simultaneously, we moved from that certain location to T Nagar, where the Kuchipudi Art Academy was situated at that point in time. And that's when my mother wanted me to learn Kuchipudi because she was very fascinated with the character of Satyabhama in particular. And so she, when she found out that the school is nearby, so she took me over there and introduced me to Master Garu, the Padma Bhushan, Dr. Vempati Chinnasatyam Garu. And so that's where I started my dance classes at the age of 10. And I was learning with all the eminent gurus of the academy. We're starting with Vedantam Ramu Master, and then Srimati Satyapriya Ramana, and Durga Akka, and a lot of other teachers were there. And that's when I began my Kuchipudi career. And post that, I started doing advanced training with Ramu Master and Satyapriya Akka, and I continue to do that today, even today.
Yeah, that's really nice. So, does it kind of build a pressure for you because you're learning from such eminent, and such famous gurus?
I don't think so. I never thought about it like that because I think our training was very rigorous. That is, there's an expectation from be it at the Bharatanatyam class or be it at the Kuchipudi class. The expectation was that you go to class multiple times. So it is not going once a week, and when you go there, you go for a couple of hours that you spend over there. And during that time, you watch your senior dancers, and you imbibe from them. You watch how the gurus, what their expectations are. So it inculcates into you that the rigor and the practice you just get used to it. And then outside of class, we have a very good rapport with our teachers, and who are actually very friendly with us. So there was no pressure in learning from the gurus, but there was an expectation for quality throughout, and expectation to practice and come on time and be present and do your part. So I think that just comes from childhood, just in the training. So it doesn't feel like anything new, and you just go with the flow.
That's really nice. But learning one dance form only takes like a lot of time and eternity. How come you mastered two, like Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam, and did Ranga Pravesh, both of them?
I think because I spent so many years in Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi at the same time, it was one of my dreams was to do my Ranga Pravesham or Arangetram in Bharatanatyam and Ranga Pravesham in Kuchipudi. and my father supported me for both. And he said, if you really are serious about it and you want to do it, I'll support you, and so that you get that qualification. At the same time, my gurus were very supportive, and there was no pressure to do Ranga Pravesham or pressure to do Arangetam. It was just a personal choice to do it, and my father willing to help me out. That's all. But otherwise, learning both the art forms was it was nice to understand the differences between the two art forms, and then also a lot of times I see that having the initial training in Bharatanatyam had helped me while pursuing Kuchipudi, because certain movements, especially the Aramandi, the Mulumandi, all that, and the posture, the Shaustvam, everything helps, especially since I started Bharatanatyam at a very young age. So it was just, since I learned it, I thought might as well do it.
That's really nice. So you were talking about the differences of Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi. So can you tell more about that so our viewers would know what is the difference between them?
It's a very common question that comes to a lot of us who know both Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi. With Bharatanatyam, I think it's very geometrical and very angular movements to begin with. Whereas in Kuchipudi you'll see a lot more fluidity, more lasya, more grace, and also with Bharatanatyam, in terms of the expressions, the abhinaya, we tend to see a lot more of the stylized expressions, and based on your mudras, and very conventional expressions. So it's more focused like on Natya Dharmi, although they do have some Loka Dharmi as well. In Kuchipudi, I see that it's more realistic to the human behavior, and so there's a lot more Lokadharmi expressions. There is some Natyadharmi, but I think the focus is more on Lokadharmi type of expressions. And then there is other, but the base for both comes from Natya Shastra and Abhinaya Darpana. So at least in the style that we learned from the Kuchipudi Art Academy, where I come from, we were more focused on the Natya Shastra. So everything was based on Natya Shastra. Whereas from the Bharatanatyam school of thought, I see a lot more Abhinaya Darpana. So from that treatise, we imbibe a lot of things from the Abhinaya Darpana. But from a dress-wise also, there's a small difference. Like in Bharatanatyam, if you notice, it will have the 3 fans, and in the Kuchipudi, you'll have the 1 long fan. And then the kacha is there for the Kuchipudi style, but there is no kacha for the Bharatanatyam. So a few aharya differences, and then the Satvika Abhinaya differences are there.
That's really, you have told us very clearly. That's really nice. So now you're more of a Kuchipudi or more of a Bharatanatyam dancer, like right now?
Yeah, I'm more of a Kuchipudi dancer.
Okay.
I think I just have an affiliation and love for Kuchipudi more, and I think as a guru, I got trained to be a guru or a teacher, I would say Natyacharya in Kuchipudi more than Bharatanatyam. So Bharatanatyam is definitely a base, but not that I'm teaching. I'm not teaching Bharatanatyam. I'm only teaching Kuchipudi.
That's really nice. So, we have heard that, Arangetam and Ranga Pravesham, both of the art forms were under the, auspices of Padma Shri and Dr. Mangalampalli Balamura Krishnan. So, can you tell us more about that?
That was very beautiful experience to have him attend my Ranga Pravesham. It was really an honor, and I was very young at that time. I was 17, and I did not at that point when my guru and introduced me to him, and I took his blessings. At that point in time, I mean, I knew who he was, and I knew he was the songs he composed. But as I went through my dance journey, I realized more about the songs, especially the Tillanas he composed, and how we use a lot of his songs in our dances. But during that time, it was a great experience having him on stage. He sat through my program, He watched the entire program. He saw. He was supposed to leave after the interval, but he actually sat back and watched. So that was really an honor to have him. And and he spoke very kind words about, especially about the Abhinaya and the Ashtapadis that I had done, and the Satyabhama Kamakalapam dance that I had done. So he was very appreciative, and it was truly an honor to have him. And it's I cannot forget that experience for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think that must be one of your memorable moments in life.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think getting such kind of encouragement or kind words from such legends, how have your gurus have played some role in your life?
Every guru has played a different role, and it has only enhanced my knowledge and my understanding of how to be a dance teacher. Starting with Mrs. Chandra Dandayatapani Pillai and at the Kuchipudi Art Academy, my guru, Dr. Vempati Chinnasathy. The values, the core values of the classes, what the expectations are from the students towards the teacher, what their expectations are of the students during the dance class, during the journey of art, learning this art. It's something that I have learned from them about the discipline that is required, the hard work that is required in order to achieve anything, especially in the field of art or sports or anything. You need a lot of dedication and a lot of a mindset to work hard, a mindset to have interest, a mindset to grow. So I think going to the academy and learning it makes a difference, because I do see a lot of everybody in the academy were expected to do properly, do everything in the right form, and in fact give their 200%. It was not even giving it 100%. During practice, we had to give 200%, and that was something that it was expected out of every student. And when you see your seniors doing it, your juniors doing it, you automatically do it. It just comes. So it's and I think those things helps the environment in which you grow, the environment a teacher brings forth to the class helps the students. And I think I have inculcated that, and I try to inculcate that as much as possible in my school as well, and emphasize on quality rather than on quantity, because I think in the long run, quality definitely helps, especially if you're patient in the beginning and take your time, focus on the quality, focus on the basics, focus on the foundation, then I think it definitely helps in the long run, because later on it's much faster, it goes much faster. So that one, and then even from my guru, I'm currently learning from Dr. Satyapriya Ramanagaru, and even from her, what I really learn from her is her friendliness, not during class, outside of class. So outside of class, how to connect with the students, how to understand each and every student, both personally and also through the dance form, understanding both the weak points and the strong points, and giving the individual focus to every student, because no two students are the same, and respecting them, whether be it a small child, be it an adult, respecting the individual. All that I think I've learned from her, and today all her, I would say 90% of the students are dance teachers around the globe, including myself, and we have formed a bond, and we have connected. So I think having that kind of camaraderie within the class helps. So these are the things I have learned from my teachers, how to form lifelong bonds.
That is really nice. I think your students must be enjoying all the things you have learned from them. Yeah. So coming back to the art form, Kuchipudi, what does it mean actually, and who is a god? Can you tell us more about Kuchipudi art form?
Sure. So Kuchipudi started with Siddhendra Yogi, and it is he basically brought forth this art form and in the village of Kuchipudi, and he started teaching the local Brahmin boys. And this all started in around 1500 AD time frame, and so he wanted to promote Bhakti movement, and as part of that Bhakti movement, he basically wanted it to be in a pure form. So he wanted to teach it to the young Brahmin boys, because they travel from place to place and they can spread this Bhakti movement. So he started with and it's a dance drama tradition. So you tell the stories through the dance dramas, and you basically and it is something that was done basically. All boys would do the female characters and the male characters. So later I would say it's that's how it started. But later on, Guru Vedantam Lakshminarayan Shastri brought it forth and started teaching women, and that's when it got more popularized among the other gender. And then solo items were introduced afterwards, and then our Guru Vempat Chinnasatya Master Garu, he brought it from the Kuchipudi village where it was originally from, and then in the early 1900s he brought it to Chennai. And Chennai being a city which was more prominent in Bharatanatyam, and bringing Kuchipudi and popularizing it in Chennai. So he basically revived it, and he made it. He refined Kuchipudi so that the audience can accept it, and that's how Kuchipudi came to be known. But the primary god that we basically dance for is Krishna and Vishnu, and a lot of our songs are based on Krishna, especially with Jayadeva's Ashtapadi started from Orissa and moved down to Andhra, and that's when we inculcated a lot of these Ashtapadis and based on Krishna and Radha, and so a lot of our songs are you'll see in Kuchipudi that we do a lot more of Krishna songs.
That is how maybe it impacts a difference between Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, because Bharatanatyam is we see a lot of Tandava, or more of Shiva's performances. Is it like that?
With Bharatanatyam, I mean, I would say since it's more Tandavam focused, and with Bharatanatyam you have both. It's not that you don't have. They also do Krishna, they also do Shiva, but you'll see a lot more of the Tandavam and the geometrical dance forms. And I think in today's world, from what you saw before to now, I think everyone is trying to get the best of everything. So you do see a lot Alumelu Manga, and you see Meenakshi, Amma and Ganesha, all those songs in Bharatanatyam as well. But I think in Kuchipudi, it's more prominent to see more Krishna items. Although nowadays we are trying to, we do have a lot more goddesses, and we do have a lot more, and we have plenty of items on Shiva as well. But you'll see a lot more focus on Venkateshwara Swami in Kuchipudi.
And also you were talking that this was first taught to Brahmin boys. I mean, which is, I think many of them don't know, because whenever we think of classical dance, the immediate gender we get is women. Like yeah. So what do you think, like gender, like men are like, maybe your guru is a man, like who learned, but do you see like more men coming into this classical dance right now compared to when you learned?
I think there are many men who are doing and who are bringing it. There are very prominent male dancers that are still doing it. So it's nice to see when they are doing when they are continuing the tradition. So we do have good eminent gurus who are male, and they do both the female part and the male part equally gracefully, and it's a pleasure to watch them, and it's a pleasure to learn from them as well. So I think it's being a male oriented traditionally, and now being female, now more females into it. I think there are definitely Kuchipudi, and I would say for new dancers, definitely there is a lot of scope for boys to do these dances as well. The only observation I have is even though you start learning from a female teacher in the beginning, I think later on, if a boy has an exposure to a male teacher as they grow, it does help them because it gives them that body language, and it teaches them how to, dance like a male. So for male dancers, having that exposure to other male dancers definitely helps. But I've seen all the boys who do Kuchipudi, and I mean even Bharatanatyam for that matter. I mean, I think they're just wonderful, and it's a pleasure to watch all of them.
Yeah, I think as you said, they can easily relate to a male dancer. And yeah. So do you have any students who are boys?
Unfortunately, I don't. I have a son who preferred also not to learn. He's 10 years old, and he wanted to move into sports because my husband's side of the family is into sports, so he preferred to do sports. But I did start teaching him all the mudras and the hastas when he was young, so it was easy when he was young. But as he grew older, he wanted to go towards sports. But no, I don't have any male dancers at the moment.
Okay, great. So, the traditional Aharya Abhinaya, which is used in solo Kuchipudi, they say, what is it about? Can you tell us more about it?
Aharya Abhinaya is basically your costume. So what you wear, and so there are the different. So with the Kuchipudi, we have. Our hairstyle is different. So to begin with, we have your the full bun and the half bun, and then you have the long jada. And especially in dances where we do Satyabhama, we have a special jada for that, where has the sun and the moon, it has the different stars. It's pretty much showing the universe, and there's an entire story about the braid for Satyabhama, and how she got the braid, and how Shiva gave it to Parvati, and Parvati gave it to Satyabhama. So that, so I think there is a lot of emphasis on the braid in Kuchipudi, and also the style of the hairstyle is definitely different from the other dance forms, and from a dress perspective, I told you how it looks. We have that one single fan. It mostly looks like a sari style, and with the kacha in the back. Pretty much otherwise, it's the basic. You'll see similarities between Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi.
Okay. So, what is the meaning of rasa, and how is it used in Kuchipudi?
There are different kinds of rasas, and as per the Natyacharya, and the main rasa that you tend to see a lot more is the Shringara rasa, and we inculcate that through our padams, through our javalis, and you see the Shringara rasa being the love or the romance, the rasa. And a lot of our dances that we do is based on the Shringara rasa. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I have this question in my mind. How do you mentally and physically, approach the Satvika and Angika Abhinaya of a role when you're dancing? Like, they're so different, or how is it?
The Satvika Abhinaya is basically the true expressions, based on the lyrical poetry, what you express. The Angika Abhinaya is basically your body movements, your hands, how do you use your hastas, your mudras, how do you sit, how do you keep your shaushtavam, how do you keep your posture. So I think as dancers, we do think about everything when we are dancing. It is not just one abhinaya. We think about our costume, we think about the stage, we think about our presence, think about the people that we are dancing with, the audience, the lights. So there's a lot of things going on in a dancer's mind. We have to have that presence. And at the same time, I think obviously the Angika Abhinaya and all that, or even the Satvika Abhinaya, the expressions, it just comes with more practice. So the more you practice, you can see that it comes naturally to you. So the first time when you're learning anything, it's new, you don't know it, so you tend to practice it. And then once you understand, while practicing, you understand the meaning of the song, you understand what are you trying to convey, what should the audience feel, what rasanubhava they should have from your dance. And once you start focusing on that, and once you have learned the dance and you understand the meaning, that's when we start looking at. Then you start focusing on the Satvika Abhinaya. You forget the Angika Abhinaya as much. Obviously, you keep to the rules of the dance form, but you also start focusing on the meaning and you go into the character. So you don't, and that's when you get, honestly, I get personally lost into the character based on what the emotion I'm showing. And that truly brings me joy, because that's one kind of a prayer and a meditation for me. So, through the years, I would say once you have a lot of practice with the basics, and then when you start getting into more of Satvik Abhinayas and expression items, you tend to start, you get immersed into the meaning and you get immersed into the dance.
Yeah, I think that was a beautiful answer. So, what is your opinion on the present Kuchipudi art scene, either in abroad or US?
I think Kuchipudi is becoming more popular compared to before, because I think with a lot of organizations coming, especially with, like for example, University of Silicon Andhra, the Silicon Andhra initiatives to bring forth Kuchipudi, and also a lot of Telugu associations within the US, and I'm seeing a lot, especially it's becoming more popular. It's getting recognized. People are understanding that there is a difference between Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, and it is a different art form. And I think it's definitely, we have a lot of dancers who want to learn this dance, and they visually see it very appealing. And they enjoy the songs, they enjoy the dance form itself. So I see a lot more, as audience base grows, a lot more people, a lot more kids and parents are understanding the dance form, and they definitely want to learn it. And yeah, I think it's very much there, and it's going to stay.
That's nice. So, tell us, I mean, you were talking about also you're affiliated for the 4-year program, right? Can you tell us more about that? What do you do with that?
Sure. So basically, a couple of years ago when this program started with University of Silicon Andhra, so they started a program which is where they provide a 4-year certificate program for school children. And a junior certificate and a senior certificate, and they are affiliated with the Putti Sriramulu Telugu University in Andhra. And so the certificate, the way it works is the first, the gurus teach the students. They go through the theory, they go through the practicals, and then there is a junior certificate and a senior certificate. So after 2 years, you'll get your junior certificate, and after 4 years, you'll get your senior certificate. And it's basically it basically teaches. It's a structured program, and you have your you have eminent gurus who are part of this program. You have the university, Putti Sriramulu University, who have come up with the curriculum, who have put a structure to it, and so it teaches the children the history of our dance, the various dance forms, the basics when it comes to Samnita Hastas, Asamnita Hastas, Pada Bedas, Griva Bedas, the eyebrows, the neck, all those moments. So in a theory format, and typically it is that you typically find in Natyacharya, Abhinaya Darpana. The children, and it's all written in English. So the kids sometimes they don't open the book. They don't have the Abhinaya Darpana book or the Natyacharya book to do it. But when they go through this program, they are taught many aspects, even the Navarasas, the Lokadharmi, Natyadharmi, the aspects of Ashtaviganayakas. So they taught a lot of theory, and along with it also they taught in a structured format. We start with our Vinayaka Gautvam, we go into Ramayana Shabdam, Dashavatharams and all that. So the students, so anyways, they are learning all this in the day-to-day classes as part of they're learning the theory and the practicals. This just gives them a more structured format to take it, and then at the end of the year they take an exam and they get certified. So that's just one of the programs that they're offering, and they're offering this in not just Kuchipudi, in Bharatanatyam, Kathak, in different various musical instruments and Carnatic music, and it is run by very eminent gurus in each of the fields. So it's very nice. It's a nice exposure for the gurus as well as the students. Apart from that, they have their diploma and master's program as well.
Okay.
Learn further.
I think it's a great affiliation to have there, and teaching is a big thing. I mean, I think you learn more while you teach, right? And more than.
Yes. So I think during being affiliated to the Sampada program for University of Silicon has definitely helped me in bringing forth a more structured format for the children, and also they also get a sense of accomplishment that okay, I have done this, I have finished my exam, even though it is actually it was a lot of it was already part of our curriculum. They were learning it. It's just that they just take what they're learning and learn a little bit more, and then they go and take an exam. So it's been a great journey. I've been affiliated with them for the last 4 years, and it's been great.
So not only being with them, but you have your own institute like Nrityataranga Dance Academy. So what made you start that, and when it all started?
Nrityataranga Dance Academy, I've been teaching for the last 15 years, but formally I started the school only 10 years ago. I started this school because I was basically a performer, and I was not into teaching when I was performing. And my mother was she was the one who initiated me, and she said, "Why don't you start looking at teaching?" And it was a little scary in the beginning to teach, and but with the guidance of my gurus. And having their support and their guidance, and so at every point in time, any doubts or anything that I have, I would always go back to my gurus and ask them. So having them as my backbone and my mother as my support, I think I have, and that's got that. So I started teaching. And now the children are now in college and some are working, but so it's been a great journey. And but Nrityataranga, the name was actually given by Shri Ganapati Sachidananda Swamiji, who our family is into, and so he gave me the Nrityataranga Dance Academy name.
That's really nice. So Nrityataranga Dance Academy and then a regular job. So how do you keep the balance, and what keeps you motivating? And we all know that US has such a busy lifestyle. So
I've been working for Accenture. It's a multinational company. It's a consulting company. I started off working for them. So I'm a computer engineer, and I graduated from University of Illinois. And over here, so once after I graduated, I started my job with Accenture. So I've been with them for the last 20 years, and and it's been a great journey being with the company, because I really enjoyed what I was doing, and also the flexibility they have, especially for women. So in terms of going part-time, in terms of going full-time, in terms of working from home or working from the office, So because I was able to have that flexibility with my work, I think that has helped me continue with my dance journey as well. And at the same time, the family support. So a big support is my husband, so and my children, and without them, this would not have happened. So I think. We are all in this together, and we all enjoy the journey. And my husband loves when the children come home and learn dance, and he sees our programs, and he enjoys that, and he looks forward when kids come home, and he likes to hear the classes going on in the background. So it's been a wonderful journey with the family as well, because they have gone through this for the last 10-15 years as well.
Yeah, I think that's really nice. But also the other part of your dance journey is the performing, in the Annamaya project of TTD or Tana Ata. So many performances in India and US also. So how these have shaped you, and what was the best moment in all these years?
I think every performance shapes you in some form or the other. It gives you more exposure to the different pieces of dance and the nuances in every dance that we do. And also traveling with musicians from one place to another. When we were in India, I used to have my music troupe. So I would have my singer, my mridangist, my flautist, my master who do the Natyacharya. And so, and we used to be like a troupe. We used to travel from one place to another and performing. And it was a wonderful experience going to the different sabhas, to different festivals, and then sometimes we collaborated with other dance teachers. We also collaborated with Manju Bhargave Garu at one Kuchipudi village when we did their annual dance festival. And so I think meeting other people and collaborating with music, collaborating with dance definitely gives you a mindset of how to work with everyone and how to I think it helps to share our knowledge and learn from each other. So in terms of projects, I think like the dance ballets that I did definitely helps, because when you get into the dance ballets, which are different from your solo performances, you not only learn about your character, your interaction with other characters, and then the stage presence, and then how to adjust if another character is if you need to make up for some parts of another character, or at the moment trying to come up with things. So I think just that interaction and I mean, doing dance ballets, doing live performances with musicians is completely a different experience. So, and I would say, it's. In terms of what is the latest project I did was in one of the global competitions that I recently did for my daughter. She participated in, and we came up with the thought of this music. It's called Resilience. And it was something I was doing very different for the first time, without music. So it was, we did this project where we took a poetry. So my daughter wrote the poetry, and she, based on the current events, based on COVID-19 and based on the current events, and we danced to that, and we danced to, okay, what, how would you put the pure classical style of Kuchipudi and work with spoken poetry? And so I think it has been done in the past, but it was something new for me based on the current situation. So it gave me a venue to think that it's not, and we did it also based on, we ended it with English music. So an English song called Rise Up, and we took all the Kuchipudi movements and did it. And so that was one of the nice projects we enjoyed doing, and to see how we can connect with not just your Indian audience, you can connect with non-Indian audiences and break the barrier of language and present your style in the purest form.
I think, yeah, that's really beautiful. Like mother-daughter duo, and the support you have from your husband. You are telling. I think that makes you more creative. So, do you try to push yourself in like new directions with each new piece? I mean, or is it like the same thing always? Does it change every time you dance?
Creativity is something that is innate in dancers. You always want to try something new. It is you do one thing and then you're like, yeah, I've done that. Now let me find something else. So yes, I always look for things that are new where I can grow. It is a little scary initially to do it because you don't know how it's going to be accepted. But then at the same time, we being dancers and we being part of the art field, I think it's important to be creative in order to grow. I try not to do the same things as much as possible. I always am looking for new concepts, new dances. And at the same time, I like to keep to traditional items as well because I think that's where the base lies. So I like to keep the traditions intact and at the same time explore the new avenues as well.
That's really nice. So we are also like SCubeTV is also conducting Annamacharya Sankirtanos, dancers, musicians, and also Carnatic programs. So do you think like students should be encouraged to come into these kind of programs?
Yes, I think for sure they should. I mean, especially when the children have learned these. I mean, after many. Obviously, the training is very rigorous in the beginning years, and so once they come to a point where the teacher or and the student believes that they are ready for these performances, I think it's very much it's a great avenue and platform for them to come and perform, and it keeps them motivated, it keeps them practicing, it keeps them looking forward to something. So having these platforms, especially during these times, is very encouraging for a lot of artists. So yes, I would say it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's really nice. So, I mean, it was wonderful talking to you, but then without seeing your dance, I think this interview will be pretty much incomplete. So, we request you to please do a dance for us and our viewers.
Sure, I'll definitely do it. Yeah.
So Aparna Garu is going to perform a Javali, that is Parulu Anamata, which is in Kamadagam, Upakatalam, and it has been choreographed by Padma Bhushan Dr. Vempati Chinna Satyangaru, and it was composed by Dharmapuri Subbarayar Garu. So let us all see how we'll enjoy the performance. Wow, that was really speechless. I mean, beautiful expressions. I think the subtle, the as you said, the gracefulness is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for coming to our show, ma'am. It was an honor interviewing you, knowing about your journey.
Thank you so much for having me. All the best. Best wishes. Thank you.
Wish you the same. So, viewers, thank you for watching our special show today. We will come with another eminent personality in our next show. Thank you and keep watching SCubeTV.